Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Gemini. If Gemini is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Six of Wands. This has everything to do with victory. Okay, and let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. Okay, and so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. So this reminds me of Bess, the little kind of troll god. I'm trying to think. I feel like Bess is... No. Let me look really quick. Bess. I was thinking the god of dry winds, but I don't think that's right. It says, oh yeah, the household protector. Okay, so this is one of our household protectors, our almost backyard spirits, right? And I remember now, this is especially one that keeps dangerous and venomous animals out of the home, okay? So I feel like, I don't know that it's exactly that you have any snakes or scorpions or anything like that, but I do feel like there's a sense of keeping people with ill intentions out of your sacred spaces, especially your home. Okay, so you are protected, and I believe that there seems to be almost this sense of having to cut somebody off. And we do kind of have that. It looks like maybe like a little dagger or something like that. So I feel that maybe this is a somebody who feels like a good friend, maybe a family member. Maybe this is somebody you are courting, or who maybe you're in a relationship, maybe you're married, I don't know. But I feel like something is going on where you are having kind of really strong spidey senses go off, right? Something is not right with this person. You are feeling it. Something they're doing is out of character. They are, a little, maybe they're being more sneaky. Maybe they're slipping up a little bit. Maybe they've been talking poorly about you behind your back, or doing things that are kind of really like, actively like making decision or choosing against the family, your relationship, this kind of stuff. So I feel like there's this energy of like, okay, now it's time. This person has to kind of leave our lives. This is a time where a tough decision has to kind of be made. Are you going to kind of stick with this, even though our kind of, spirit guides, our protectors, our household gods are, sounding the alarm. Like, hey, this is bad energy. This is a weird energy this person has. And it's throwing off the whole thing, the whole environment feels not good. And I think it has brought a lot of stress onto you. I think that you know exactly what I'm talking about. And, I think that in some ways you've tried to ignore it. You've, tried to reason it out. You don't want to jump to, conclusions or anything like that. But I also feel like this is a person, and I'm not saying that this is a Cancer person, but they have the qualities of the crab. And you can see we have a large crab here. So this is somebody who maybe they are crabby. Maybe they are, emotionally unavailable. Maybe that it is that when you go to speak to them and try to talk about things, they, put their guard up. They won't talk about it. They don't share things with you. Or, that they are somebody who is kind of, I don't know, I think it's a lot of this has to do with that they're just very callous with your emotions, with your well-being. They say things that are hurtful. They tell people things that, are personal, things that you've shared with them. And I think that this has caused a lot of heartbreak and a lot of stress. And I think that there's been a lot of this feeling of like, but I love them. We have a long history. We've been friends forever. Maybe this is like my sibling or whatever it is, but it's like it detracts from your life in such a way that, some boundaries have to go up. If anything is ever going to change, there has to be some kind of, rules set down. And I think, at least backing off from the relationship a little bit, because it seems like it has been fairly detrimental. Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to probably spin around a couple times here. I saw, that we had some letters in here. I want to kind of look and see what do we have going on. So this one looks like it's right in here. It looks like it is an L-E-F-T. So left. For some reason, left. The word left, really. And then down here we have a 41. 41. And we have, it looks kind of like a dog-headed person. Here's the dog. And then holding it looks like a horn or something like a horn. And I almost feel like this is maybe like your best friend or like somebody who's really close to you. Maybe like, for some reason it came into my head, maybe this is like your adult child. Or just somebody who, you're very, like, they are very loyal to you, okay? And you are very loyal to them. And I think that they have kind of sounded the alarm. Like, this is where you go to kind of, you talk about the things just because you want verification that, like, I'm not overreacting. Like, I'm not looking for signs where maybe there aren't any. Maybe I'm just being kind of untrustworthy or whatever. But I think that, this person absolutely backs up, your feelings. And I think that, and the reality of the thing is that, we know when something's weird. We know when something's off, especially if you have known somebody for a long time or you live with them, unless you live very separate lives, it's hard to miss that, okay, something's going on. Like, something is shifted in this household, So I think you're very aware, but you know what? At the same time, and I get this, sometimes it's like you want to bury your head in the sand because, things are not that bad. It doesn't feel that bad. I got a lot of stuff going on and actually they're going pretty good for me right now. I don't want to deal with that, But, you know, again, I can tell you from personal experience, it only devolves further and further, you know. And probably my husband hates this in some ways, but I have become, as I've gotten older, and, you know, even in this relationship with my husband, I absolutely, if something feels like we're gonna have an argument, we're gonna bicker, or something feels weird and I have any kind of question about, I don't understand what this is, can you explain it, you know, whatever it is, I want to communicate about it now. Not tomorrow, not 3 months from now. I want to talk about it now. I want this worked out. I want everybody on the same page so we at least know what's happening here, you know, and no like sniping or resentful or whatever, you know, and I'm not saying it's perfect because I can be pretty passive aggressive. I'm not going to lie to you. But, you know, absolutely trying to work that out of myself. And so I feel like, you know, I think that you're coming around to this where it's like, and when I'm talking to a Gemini, yeah, it is kind of like two different people because you know what? On a Thursday, you might be full force. Like, we're going to talk about this right now. We're getting it out. But by Friday, it's like, hey, I just kind of want to have a good time. And, you know, we worked hard this week. I don't want to talk about this. I just, you know, I want to go with the flow. Maybe we'll discuss it on Monday, you know? And I get that. But yeah, I think that this is something where even, you know, your closest confidant is kind of like, all right, this is something, there's something here. You're not imagining things at all. Okay, so we have a bird. We have a bird flying. We have, it looks like a Z. We have a Z name. And, or it's an N. It could be an N name. We have somebody standing here that's holding an orb of some kind. Oh, I just demolished them. But they're still there. Holding the orb of some kind. And then we have somebody over here who's kind of kneeling. Okay. And almost like it reminds me of like Isis or Hathor. I mixed the two up. But kind of with the spread and arched wings. Okay. So it feels like we have some kind of messaging coming in. And I think that whatever it is, there's somebody with an N name that might be, or a Z name, that might be kind of an aside there. It doesn't necessarily have to do with these ones. But then I feel like it's, there seems to be a feeling of, emotions really kind of rising. And yes, this is something that should be dealt with. This is something that you need to kind of figure out for your own well-being. But I also think it's a really good time for you to really invest yourself into your spiritual work, your religious work, your self-work, your therapies or whatever it is that you are kind of implementing into your life right now. And with the person with the orb and this other person who is in this kind of very like votive posture, it does seem like this sense of giving some kind of devotion, maybe even a devotional object, an offering of some kind. This could also be returning to a very intense kind of spiritual path, okay? Kind of shifting some of these mundane Malkuthian energies in the base reality where we are. We're worried about, our dynamic of our relationships and our household and our work life and, all the things that sustain our physical world for us. And putting some of these feelings of, a loosening sense of control, and maybe feeling like on the verge of, I'm starting to get kind of upset about this or worried about it. Putting that into the love and work you have for whatever it is that, that you follow or believe in or makes sense to you, your magical work, your alchemical work, your whatever therapy, like I said, therapies or, and I think that there's a sense of being there is a shelter in being very devout in periods of our life. And it doesn't have to be that it really is any specific icon or deity or religion or system or specific technique. But it is, I think, so much about that internal dialogue, finding things that bring you into the interior spaces of your internal life, reorienting yourself with the relationship that you have with yourself, right? I think reestablishing that bond, giving yourself some space, being having radical love towards yourself, doing things like affirmations and mantras and positive self-talk and going to spaces that feel like they're full of love and grace and maybe even fellowship and to be in beauty and and to be taken by that, going to gardens or museums or music or whatever it is, the beautiful natural spaces. And so these are all kind of little doses of spirit medicine, and I feel like and I really do believe this, when you're about to get into an argument with somebody, or that you have a serious conversation coming, you have something that you just can't wait. You have to talk about it. You have to do, some kind of communicating. I think it's always important to do something like going for a walk beforehand. Go, get some fresh air, do some breathing, go for a walk. Look at something beautiful, smell something beautiful, whatever it is. Let yourself be in something else for a while. Absolutely do not let the house get hot and everybody's mad and everybody's irate and frustrated and, slamming doors and saying things they shouldn't and God forbid, please don't call each other names. That's, the one of the worst things we can do. But getting to that point where, you feel like saying something nasty to somebody, go away from it for a while before you get into that deeper conversation, because you can't start from that place. It's never going to be helpful. There's never a time when it is helpful. And so I think that this is a place where this victory is in mastering your reactions. Okay? You are a passionate being. Are you not? A lot of fire there, a lot of spunk, and nobody's going to tell you any different about how you feel in that moment. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think it is worth exploring being able to take yourself out of that immediate, knee-jerk reaction. Learning how to temper yourself. you know, learning how to come down a few notches. And, you know, there are some people in our lives who just absolutely push our buttons, and it, you know, unfortunately, it's usually the people we love the most because we know each other so well. But I can't emphasize to you enough, when you get out of a dynamic that is like that when you're home, you know, if you grew up in a home where there's a lot of arguing and turmoil and you know, back these different shifting emotions, and which we all have, you know, we do, but to an extreme, right? You grow up like that, and then we relive kind of the things that we know, until we decide not to. Okay, so when you get out of those coping mechanisms and you start to think, I'm not gonna live like that anymore, you know, I'm not gonna accept that. You get out of it, and you look and you think, how could I have lived like that for so long? But I'm absolutely unwilling to anymore. I don't find any other way to do it, you know. Before my daughter, and she's wonderful. She's so wonderful. She's also a Gemini, by the way. And she's fiery, that girl. Oh my gosh. And she's got a little mouth on her. She is so clever and quick-witted. She is going to destroy me someday. She is just so, I mean, it's amazing the things that she comes up with. But I for years before her, I just didn't argue with anybody. Now, you know, it's the thing where she's, you know, almost 4 and I'm her mom. So there's a little bit of a power struggle there sometimes. And that's okay. So there is a little bit of arguing between she and I. But before that, I just really didn't, you know, I haven't been in an argument with somebody in the real world in a long time, like out in the wild. I've unfortunately gotten to this place where I sometimes just laugh when somebody's really rude to me. I don't know. It's not like I'm laughing. Like, I don't know what else to do but laugh, because it seems so weird, you know, like very aggressive. It just is like, okay, that's okay. But, you know, and not to like talk myself up, but you do. And I came from a place that was, you know, very unhealthy. I grew up in a household that was very, a lot of stuff going on, you know, and I lived that out in my own life as an adult as well, in other relationships. And so, you know, I'm no saint. I have a mouth on me as well. That's where my daughter gets it from. But I will tell you that you get out of it and you look back and you think, no, never again. Why would I do that? Why would I do that to myself? Why would I do that to the people I love? We're not going to live like that. I'm not going to. And if it can't change, then I'm, you know, I'm changing. I'm going to go find my own way, you know, and I think that this is that victory. And I feel like this is somewhere where, you know, when somebody like a Gemini can learn to really decide when they're going to turn it on and when they're going to hold their, you know, their power for themselves, and they're going to put it into other things. They're going to put that rage, that anger, those, you know, cutting words that you have. Nobody could stop you. I mean, you could be anything you wanted to be. You know, you could do anything. It just absolutely, there's no power like the power of you know, like a self-mastered Gemini. And so, you know, this is the time, I think. This is your time to get into those places. And this next year, I you know, I think that there will be some very obvious shifts in the way that you are living. And I think that you will look back on this time before and you will think like, was that even my life? That doesn't even seem, real anymore. I mean, it seems bizarre in some ways. But it is. It's a learning experience. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 78 years old and deciding this, I'm changing things. I'm doing something different now, and it can happen at any time, there's not, I have spent a lot of my life worried about, I'm too old to do this, or I will never get, where I want to go, or whatever. I should have done it when I was younger. It's such a mental trap. We can do pretty much. I mean, I'm not going to be an astronaut. I mean, let's be real, but, but there are a lot of things, we can continue to do and work on throughout our lives. Okay. So don't give up on that. Don't ever think that you're too old to do something. Okay, let's see. Now we have a face here, and I've been looking at it right here. And it looks like, I almost wonder if this is a strange one. I almost wonder if this is like somebody that you worked with when you were younger. I almost wonder if this is like maybe like a manager or something. And I don't know what it is about them, but they feel like they've come up in your mind recently. And I can almost imagine maybe like working at like a fast food restaurant, or some kind of like, I'm trying to think, like maybe like a car wash. Is that a weird one? Something like this, where there's a lot of traffic, right? A lot of people coming and going. And this person who is maybe just a little bit older than you, but they were a manager, and kind of, what you would assume, or what you would think of as like maybe like kind of dorky or whatever, but very serious about their job. And, and I think that there was always kind of an affection you had there. Not like an attraction so much as just kind of seeing somebody be so serious about something that felt very frivolous to maybe everybody else. But I think that there was a kind of a soft spot in your heart for this person. And for some reason they're coming up. And I don't know what it is exactly, but there's a little heart up there. And I feel like maybe you've come across them randomly in the community, or maybe like they added you on social media, or I don't know, something. Somebody brought them up, but they've been on your mind. And I don't know. Sometimes I have very specific, it just is like, okay, that's a kind of different thing coming through. But, that's what we're here for. Sometimes it's just the most odd little things. Okay, so we have the Divine Doors Oracle cards, and I'm going to go ahead and flip through here, and I'm going to stop where it feels right. And it says, draw down the moon, the forest nymphs dance in sheer delight, singing soft songs, find us in the wild. Good night. All right, let's go dancing with the nymphs. Sounds like a good time. Maybe it needs to get a little warmer. It's supposed to be warm here, though, this week. So, or I don't even know what day it is. It's almost Friday, I guess. For the weekend, I suppose. All right. Well, anyways, Gemini, I want to tell you I love you and I thank you for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean the world to me. Also, if you have not subscribed to my husband's channel, which is Dove and Serpent Tarot, his name is Paul. We're trying to boost him up to 200K. That is 200,000 subscribers. He's just about to get there. We're hoping he'll be there by the end of the weekend. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to his channel, go check out his readings. He's amazing. I'm not just being biased, but he is just a wonderful talent. And also just, I don't know, he has like the best vibes ever. So go and check his stuff out and give him a sub, please. TT says please too. What are you doing? You're cleaning me. Okay, let's say goodnight. All right, I love you, Gemini, and we will talk in a few days. Take care of yourself. Say goodnight, T. Say goodnight, T. She says good night. Good night.